With insufficient oxygen, that's the plan?
That's the plan.
Imagine humanity discovers a drug that doesn't kill anyone. It doesn't make consistent users violent. It isn't even unhealthy. It simply makes everyone blissfully content to let civilization fade out of existence. That's the premise of one of the best indie sci-fi novels I've read in years. What novel, you ask? Well, it's called Deep Marine and was written by Nick Balgard, whoever that is. And believe me when I say, it slaps. So while I work on this thing I'm working on, I figured it would behoove us to discuss this full metal, deep sea military thriller. So let the multitasking begin.
Thank you!
The story takes place in July of 2065. 21 years into humanity's quiet collapse. What does that mean? Well, instead of an asteroid or a zombie outbreak, humanity is facing a situation more akin to Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. You know, the kind of creeping apocalypse where civilization doesn't get punched in the face so much as gently reclines into extinction with a lazy smile on its face. The crux of the collapse is a miracle drug extracted from the deep ocean near the wreck of the Titanic. Why this location? Because the Titanic is already a frightening symbol of arrogance, luxury, class failure, technological overconfidence, and subaquatic disaster. So naturally, humanity returns to the wreck and finds a new way to shoot itself in the foot.
Nice.
The drug itself is technically wonderful, which is the whole problem. The drug's extractor and producer, Belua Incorporated, takes it and does what companies do best, ignores all ramifications in its quest to maximize profit. Thus, worldwide productivity collapses, reproduction rates drop off a cliff, and human ambitions dry up. And when the story begins, Belua is in the process of forcefully expanding its customer base.
I like your style, friend.
Now enter Delaney Martin, also known as Del. He's one of the few people who refuses to so much as touch the drug. He is principled, stubborn, isolated, and a die-hard contrarian, which means he is exactly the sort of person every collapsing society resents until it needs someone with a backbone to step in and do what needs to be done. But the interesting thing about Del is that he is, of all things, a pacifist. I know, right? A pacifist in a deep-sea military thriller. But stick with me. The discomfort is part of the point. If Del were already a gung-ho action hero, what would be the moral dilemma? So yeah, the novel kicks off when a Belua figurehead named Cetus breaks into Del's workplace wearing a deep-sea dive suit and tries to get Del and his non-using co-workers hooked on the drug. And no, this is not simply the first chapter, nor simply the first page. This is the first paragraph. Some books spend 50 pages warming up. Deep Marine kicks the door open and says, "Say hello to my little friend!" Instinctually, Del fights back and escapes the sketchy situation, refusing to become addicted. Annoyed, he realizes that keeping his head down and working hard does not guarantee the system will ignore him.
What an idiot!
Then, after the attack, Del is approached by a retired US Navy officer and recruited for an ultra-secret mission called Operation Trident. And yes, I realize this is a very obvious nod to Poseidon, but there is actually a really interesting twist baked into the name as well.
Alrighty then.
The mission is scheduled to occur in the Atlantic, 2 miles beneath the surface, at a state-of-the-art mining facility called Krakenstone, which is where the drug is extracted from the ocean floor. The mission is a desperate attempt to seize the facility and give humanity a chance to sober up before it sinks past the point of no return. With 2 miles of seawater pressing down on them, the environment is more lethal than outer space. Communication with the outside world will be eliminated entirely until the mission is complete. There is no simple way to go AWOL. Sunlight is a distant memory. There's literally no margin for error. And then, because apparently that was not enough, we add subaquatic security, sabotage, hazardous training exercises, equipment failures, and the psychological strain of being trapped under millions of gallons of water with people who may or may not be secretly working for Belua. So really, it's not an act of war.
It's an act of lunacy.
That said, why would anyone agree to partake in such a dangerous mission? Well, because they're based and are decidedly not okay with humanity's blissful descent into extinction. Specifically, Del agrees because he is told he can serve as a medic. This matters because, again, Del is a pacifist. He wants to preserve life, not end it. But the story continuously tightens the vice. Some of his compatriots respect him. Some think he is dead weight. Some are waiting for reality to beat the philosophy out of him with a sack full of soap bars. So is Del going to have to compromise his beliefs? And in what ways? Wouldn't you like to know?
Oh no! What happened?
The setting compresses everything and makes the dense timetable and blistering pace feel appropriate. And before you ask, no, there is no sea monster. However, there are plenty of human monsters, especially Cetus, the ruthless, power-driven antagonist who absolutely reminded me of Agent Smith from The Matrix. He is the kind of person who does not merely benefit from the system, he feeds it. And while I am not going to spoil the ending, I will say that it aims for painful aftermath rather than an instant victory where everyone joins hands and sings Kumbaya as they dance into the sunset together. The author makes it clear that good times rarely arrive except through struggle. Now, the uninitiated might ask, so is Deep Marine about military ethics, addiction, or the ends justifying the means? The answer is yes. It is about all of those things. The deep water and the deep marine. The abyss outside and the abyss within. The soldier who does not want to be a soldier. The pacifist forced into the gears of violence. The civilization that finds a miracle and turns it into a curse. Is it cheerful?
No.
Is it subtle?
Not really.
It is the kind of book where a good, quiet young man is confronted with difficult problems. With all that said, who is Deep Marine for? Well, it's for military sci-fi buffs, deep sea fanatics, and dystopian fans. Out of 5 stars, I'd give the story 5, the prose 3, the action 4, the setting 5, the plot 5, the pacing 4, the character arcs 4, and the research 4, for an overall rating of 4.25, which means it is absolutely worth your time, in my opinion, especially since it isn't super long. So yeah, it's got my stamp of approval. Give it a read if you so desire. But before you go, please subscribe and leave a quick comment. Until next time, bye.